Welcome back, everybody. Happy Friday and a wonderful weekend to you guys all. My name is Jeremiah, and welcome to the Hill Shadows podcast. With me tonight is my co host and my beautiful wife, Ashley.
Hi.
We got a few things to talk about tonight, going from a possible werewolf sighting in Wisconsin some years back to what could either be a very complex, undeciphered code from the 15th century, or is it a hoax? And I also have a pretty creepy cryptid encounter from a couple in Illinois. So if you guys like the supernatural, the paranormal, the unexplainable, hit that subscribe button. Each week we go over different examples of this kind of phenomenon. We love to have you become a part of our community. If you guys have a story you'd like to share with us, you can email us at hillshadowsky@yahoo.com. We'd love to share your story in an upcoming episode, or if you don't want us to share, just let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys anyway. So it's been a pretty crazy week. Um, got a lot of stuff going back on again. We're just recovering from spring break week with the kids, so we had a little bit of time off and got to do a little resting and relaxing, and now we're getting kind of back to the grind of things. How's your week been?
It's been good.
Been good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say though, because you didn't specify
Okay.
anything about this. My stories are about near-death experiences.
Okay, I didn't know. I had no idea. I didn't know what your stories were about. We have actually seen some pretty cool things when it comes to near-death experiences lately. We had watched we watched a show called The Y Files, and among other sources, that he covered a story of a woman that I believe thought she had lived
Well,
a
I
previous
found an article
life.
actually about this woman.
Is this
and
the
in
woman
the-
I'm talking about?
Yeah, that which is how you even found that.
Right.
I
Yeah.
was reading a story about what was her name, Dorothy. Oh, Dorothy. Oh, I
mean,
don't
we
want to
can
say
find
this
it
wrong.
out,
Yeah, look
yeah.
it up really quick. She ended up finding out she, I guess, in another life was SETI something,
Dorothy
an ancient
Eady.
priestess. Yeah, Dorothy Eady.
Dorothy Eady, also known as
Yeah,
SETI,
SETI. Yeah,
a British antiques caretaker and folklorist.
it's quite interesting.
It is a very interesting story.
She is. I mean, many details about ancient Egypt were only discovered because of this woman and the life that she claims to have lived, thousands of years ago.
It's very interesting.
It is.
There are a couple of really interesting reincarnation stories that really strike me. There could be something to them.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side of this, people claim that where she hit her head as a young child, or maybe she had mental illness.
Right.
And
This is
she
what,
studied
but
the topic intently.
Even that
There were
still
some
is not going to
impressive
tell. There's things that she discovered, like there being a small library under one of the Sphinx's foot. That's not something that would have ever been documented.
But what if that was like common in ancient Egypt for like underneath the?
Then why didn't we know about it prior?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think the woman is onto something. But her having that experience where, she hit her head and says that she died for an amount of time.
Right.
That's what got me, on this whole, near-death experiences this week. I mean, I've, looked into it a lot.
Are you wanting to kick it off, or do you want me to? I can go ahead and start off. It doesn't matter. I don't really. I only have like one actual encounter, and then I want to talk about like a couple.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess I can go ahead and do it. Because what I have really, it's just a few people's experiences. It's nothing terribly long, but I have several of them. Right?
As always, anything we talk about, we will leave our references down in the description if you guys want to check it out for yourself. And make sure you guys are subscribed. And if you enjoy the video, hit the like button. It helps our video get recommended by the algorithm, the almighty algorithm. So I'll let you go ahead and kick it off.
Okay, I'm going to start with this.
And then I will start after Ashley. So
this is about a Chicago man this is his near-death experience, and he says that it was it's a beautiful feeling, which is something that you'll
It's
hear.
very common.
Yeah,
a lot
often.
of people say that.
All right, it's a news article. I seem to have news articles often. That's just what this one is. Cold, pain, and fear. That's what Humberto Casas felt when his chest started hurting during a bike ride last winter. The only thing he could do as he waited for the ambulance was to pray. When I started praying, all of this fear and the cold and the pain in my arms, it went away, and I experienced peace, he said. He was rushed to St. Catherine's Hospital in Wisconsin, where cardiologist Dr. Michael Rosenberg met him for the first time on the operating table. Humberto asked Dr. Rosenberg, "Is this a death or life situation?" The doctor looked at him and answered, "Yes, it is." Humberto felt at that point his life was ending. Dr. Rosenberg confirmed that he had the Widowmaker Legion. He suffered 2 cardiac arrests, and his heart stopped. What happened next was Humberto's incredible experience of dying and entering paradise, the path that leads you to heaven. Humberto also remembers the unimaginable feeling of peace, rest, and relief that washed over him, like the feeling you get after a long, long day of work, but 1,000 times more wonderful. It's a beautiful feeling, he said. Your soul just lets go. Lets go. Your soul keeps following the light of God. This is where you feel life starts. While Humberto was on his heavenly journey, he remembers looking down and seeing his children on the couch. His wife then talks about how after his recovery, he told the story to his children and they started crying and said, "Dad, that's where we were sitting the whole time praying." Humberto emphatically discounts the idea some may have that he was only dreaming or hallucinating because he says the experience is engraved in my soul. Dr. Rosenberg confirms that other patients have described to him their near-death experience. Said it was a joyful and hopeful message for all those mourning the death of a loved one. They don't need to worry. They'll be in a very good place. God is there. I wish I had a little bit more detail about, like
Right.
the actual visual of what he saw.
The guy that I was listening to earlier, he said that once he had moved to the other side, he said that his body was like as if it was like a banana peel. Like, what do you do with a banana peel when you're done with it? Like, you throw it away? Like, he didn't want to go back to his body at all.
Yeah, that's often something you'll hear. Like, it's so, everything is so good there. It feels so good when you're in this other place
it's
that
like
you don't want to come back.
Really interesting.
It is. I find this stuff to be absolutely fascinating, and also, it gives you a bit of comfort.
Right.
I mean, for one,
gives you peace knowing that there's something when you leave.
Yeah, when you leave here, or even people that you've lost, that they are somewhere waiting.
And I always
for you.
hear what a relief it is to shed yourself of human emotion, right?
Yeah.
Like the worry and the stress and the anxiety and everything just washes off of you and it's gone, and and they at the same token they describe coming back as all that stuff rushing back to you.
Or
so
also there are a few people that have said they experienced hell, and all of those bad feelings, the anxiety, fear, panic,
you don't want that near death
they
experience.
Say you feel
you don't
all
want
that
NDE
intensified, and the heat that's there.
That's scary.
That is scary.
And you never know how much time you got, so you gotta make every second count.
Yeah.
So how many more of the near-death experiences?
These ones right here are just short little.
Because I might have found some cool ones.
Huh?
I didn't know you were looking for near-death experiences.
I told you this earlier. You did.
Well, I mean, but I'd already found my materials. What I'm saying.
Okay. I told you this the other day. I was going to do this.
Well, I didn't know you were dead set on it. I guess I don't know. I just kind of always wing it.
Okay, I'm going to read a couple of these little things real quick, and then I'm going to let you fully take over.
Let me take over? I don't want to fully take over.
Well, yeah, with your stuff, because it's
Can
completely opposite.
Can I still just be co-host? Or do I have to just take the whole show? I mean, are you leaving? She's not leaving.
I'm going to read now. Again, these are just really short little stories. As the surgeon and the nurses worked to restart my heart, I floated above the operating table and found myself looking down on the entire scene. I noticed then that the surgeon with whom I had been flirting with during pre-op consultations had a pronounced bald spot. After my recovery, things just weren't the same between us. It's funny. She saw this, as she was being operated on, and it changed everything for her. That's funny to me. Okay, hold on. Here's another one. I was passing through a long tunnel of light. At the end of it, I saw all my deceased relatives dressed in white, waiting for me and beckoning lovingly. With the exception of Aunt Sonia, who said, "Whoa, someone's put on a few pounds." I said, "Excuse me?" And she said, "I'll try, but I'm surprised you can make it through the light tunnel with those hips." When the lifeguard resuscitated me, I just felt annoyed. So people still have a sense of humor?
Right, yeah, clearly.
There? That's funny.
Some people don't have a sense of humor here. I don't know what you're talking about. I imagine if you have one here, you're probably going to have... I don't see myself ever being in any situation where I'm not cutting a little fun at it.
Yeah.
I don't care how serious
if you're
it is.
not
I've been
acting a fool...
I've been talked badly about for that characteristic before. Like,
I'm sure.
It's not the time for that, Jeremiah. It's always the time for that. It is.
All right, here we go. After the hunting accident, I drifted skyward toward a magnificent being made of light. And although it didn't speak in a conventional way, and, as far as I could tell, didn't have a mouth, I could understand everything it said. "Come to me," the being seemed to intone. "Come to me." But then, when I got close, the being acted surprised. "Whew, don't sneak up on me like that," it told me with its thoughts. "You know your face is really messed up. You scared the hell out of me," I beamed back with my thoughts. "I thought you called me over." Then came the reply, "No, I was beckoning to the woman behind you." I turned and saw a beautiful woman dressed in white. "Now beat it," the being of light said. "And for fuck's sake, do something about that face." Damn. Is this real?
Holy cow, man. I've been in some stories where I gotta stop myself midway. Like, are we going off the rails here? But who am I to say what off the rails is, right? I don't know. I've never had an experience like that. I've heard some pretty far-fetched stuff, so I'm willing to...
I probably should have said this beforehand.
Okay.
These are disappointing near-death experiences.
I don't know. That's the kind I want to hear. I don't know that I'm going to title the video that one. It's a bad title. Disappointing near-death.
No, I think it's good because there's all types of experiences. It's not just...
There's a smorgasbord, I feel you.
It's funny.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a bit of funny stuff there.
Some funny stuff.
Okay. I haven't even fully read all these through. I did read a few of them.
I actually don't have but one encounter tonight, but I haven't read that either.
As I lay on the pudding green receiving CP... What? As I lay on the pudding green.
Pudding green.
Ah!
Like golf?
It's 2 T's. Pudding.
You said that, pudding.
Whoops!
I ain't cutting that out. That's gold.
It's what it is. It's a common thing.
And if you knew how much this applied to Ashley, like, I could have just an hour-long non-stop edit of her doing these things. Which I may put together one day.
Please don't, because it is quite embarrassing. Okay, let's try this again.
The pudding green.
As I lay on the pudding green, receiving CPR, I was like, this does not sound right. What does that mean?
What is the pudding green?
Okay.
You gotta love it.
As I lay on the pudding green, receiving CPR from the EMTs, my life began flashing before my eyes. A baby in a massive crib, a toddler pulling a wagon, a 5-year-old getting a new puppy for his birthday. It was going along like that, flash, 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 until my life, which still had 60 years to go, got stuck at my 2nd grade Christmas pageant when I had an accident in front of the entire school. I had to relive that awful scene. The embarrassed response of the audience the hurried mopping of the angry janitor, the mockery from the stable animals, the damp chill in my Joseph wardrobe. I thought it would never end. Thank God they were able to bring me back to life. That'd be terrible being stuck in like.
I mean, that memory's not gonna. You're not gonna forget that one, right? I was just thinking, like, I don't know that I remember much in my second grade. And I was like, well, if I'd have done something like that, I think I would.
Yeah, sure.
You're not gonna forget that. You always remember the fouls and the follies, man.
There was a lot of light, yes, and feelings of joy and release from this mortal coil. But then there were the relatives, all of them, every last dead one of them, smiling and happy to see me, which I can tell you never happened during my life, and, to be honest, just shocked the hell out of me. I think it might have saved my life. That's why they came back, because they saw their relatives. Happy to see them.
I mean, what I think about it a lot is, like, can they I don't think they can really mess with our world any, right? It's like it's like the veil that separates the two, right?
Right, I guess.
But it has to have something to do with the paranormal activity, because there's got to be some things that can manipulate the other side in some way, or
maybe that's just trickery of some
like
sort.
the things those
are other different beings
the coins
pretending
through thin air. Where do the coins come from?
I would love to have some type of idea.
I know they don't deal in currency on the other side, so is that like another? It's got to be another dimension, I believe.
There has to be. There has to be something.
Maybe another time period, another dimension.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But how do they overlap? Like how is...
It's an interesting concept.
I wonder, like, are people, like, astral projecting or doing that, what is that called? Where, like... What is that called? Like, where,
astral
like...
travel?
I guess so. Where, like, you'll picture somewhere. Like, you can have one person go to the place.
Are you talking about,
What is that called?
That is a type of thing the government studied in.
Yeah, but I can't, like, they call it
What
something.
Is that called? One of us should be able to
I can't believe, I know. It's going to hit
remote viewing.
Remote viewing. There you go. Yeah.
And I only know that because I've done a lot of remote work, like work from home.
Yeah.
Using the old Zoom or remote viewing. Like you can view it from your mind, They've actually...
Does that have something to do with it?
They've located kidnapping, a person who got kidnapped by using remote viewing. And it's a pretty far-fetched concept.
Why, though?
I will agree. I will say that.
I don't think so.
Well, it goes back into the whole Jedi thing, right? Like how powerful is the mind that you can...
Our government is not going to study that for as long if there's not some validity to it.
Well, I'm sure there's something to it. Probably, yeah. I believe in like telekinesis or communicating psychically, maybe. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
I believe in a lot of weird stuff.
I mean, I've seen some weird stuff, so I believe in more than I've seen.
Spooky action at a distance.
The first thing I wanted to talk about tonight is this document.
Wait, I wasn't done reading.
Are you not done? You're still
more.
In the middle of it? Okay. I thought you were done. I just kind of got the vibe.
I'll read one more and you can go.
Oh, no, go.
Because they're all just silly like that.
Well, I mean, if they're short,
I probably should have found some that were, like, legit. Good.
Whatever you feel, whatever the vibe
I'll look for one in a minute while you're kind of reading. All right. In the ambulance, my heart stopped beating for 3 minutes. And during that time, I found myself walking through a beautiful garden with a sparkling brook running through it. On the other side of a bridge stood Jesus and all his apostles, smiling beautifully. Jesus said something to me, which I assumed was an invitation to cross the bridge. But when I set foot on it, he said, "No, can't you read?" It was then that I looked down and saw a sign on the bridge that read, "Apostles Only." Jesus pointed downstream, where a log lay across the brook. I nodded, walked to the log, and tried to cross, but the log was deceptively slippery. Each time I got about halfway across, I fell into the brook, and each time Jesus, the apostles, laughed. It wasn't malicious laughter, really, just an expression of delight, but still, I couldn't help take it personally. when I came back to life in the ER, I felt hurt and confused.
All right. Jesus and his apostles embarrassing
They
somebody.
have sense of humor. You've been talking about this forever.
You know,
Jesus
this
has
seems
to have
like
a
there's
sense
a
of
lot
humor.
of rules over there. Like
Rules.
Well, it's like don't sneak up on me so fast. Like I don't know.
That wasn't a rule.
How can you? It's weird that you could even sneak up on a whatever that. Like
I don't think that was even that.
Well, the rule was like don't cross the bridge, and you just
Well, yeah, that part maybe it wasn't necessarily a rule, but.
And why would you break the rule when somebody? I don't know.
Who broke it?
Did they cross Didn't they cross it anyway?
No.
Or they did it first, and it was like don't do that.
Started to, and he's like, no, and realized there was a sign that said apostles only.
Oh, okay.
And Jesus pointed
that's
down.
right. Yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. Like, so the apostles could do it, and he just wasn't.
In that one spot.
Right. Like VIP. Like.
I guess.
I got you.
Do you? It doesn't seem like you're picking up.
I did. I just forgot exactly what I was gonna ask because it did. I remember saying apostles only.
Mm-hmm. Short-term memory or something.
But yeah, if you guys have any near-death experiences that you want to share with us, you can send them to us.
I'm gonna try to find like a legit
ky@yahoo.com. Are you have anything else right here? Or,
you go ahead. I'm gonna try to find something like a
So have you ever heard of the Voynich manuscript?
I don't guess so.
Because I researched like some.
I mean, off the top of my head.
Some of the most historic supernatural things, and this kept popping up over and over again. And I know we haven't covered it, and I know that because I don't know anything at all about it. So what I thought I would do is just read a little bit about this thing, and apparently somebody thought they finally.
Is it Voynich or Voynich?
That I don't know. I'm American, so it's Voynich to me, but I don't know. It doesn't really tell you how to pronounce it. But
Or I could be saying that wrong too.
Anyway, the Voynich or Voynich manuscript is an illustrated codex handwritten in an unknown script referred to as the Voyniches. I hope I'm saying that right. And is that vellum?
I guess so.
Yeah. The vellum on which it is written has been carbon dated to the early 15th century. Stylistic analysis indicates it may have been composed in Italy during the Italian Renaissance. The origins, authorship, and purpose of the manuscript are debated. Hypotheses suggest that it is a script for a natural language or constructed language, an unread code, cipher, or other form of cryptography, or a meaningless hoax. The manuscript consists of around 240 pages, but there is evidence that pages are missing. Some pages are foldable sheets of varying sizes. Most of the pages have fantastical illustrations or diagrams. Some crudely colored, with sections of the manuscript showing people, fictitious plants, astrological symbols, etc. The text is written from left to right. The manuscript is named after Wilfrid Voynich, a Polish-Lithuanian book dealer who purchased it in 1912. Hold on 1 second. Let me find my way here. Since 1969, it has been held in Yale University's Belknap Rare Book and Manuscript Library.
That's an I.
Is that an I? Yeah. Oops. So Yale University's Voynich Rare Book and Manuscript Library, because I know I did not pronounce that correctly. The Voynich manuscript has been studied by professional and amateur cryptographers, including American and British codebreakers from both World War I and World War II. Codebreakers Prescott Currier, William Friedman, Elizabeth Friedman, and John Titman were unsuccessful. The manuscript has never been demonstrably deciphered, and none of the proposed hypotheses have been independently verified. The mystery of its meaning and origin has excited the popular imagination, provoking study and speculation. In 2020, Yale University published the manuscript online in its entirety, 225 pages, in their digital collections library. Now I will be sure to have pictures of this manuscript for you guys to check out. There's a lot of colorful pictures that were in this thing. And another article here, it was somebody that says that maybe they finally decoded this. This was in 2019. And I found this on Yahoo News. It's titled, World's Most Mysterious Manuscript Has Finally Been Decoded After 500 Years. It's been described as the most mysterious manuscript on Earth, written in an unknown language and script and showing images of strange, alien plant species. But the Voynich manuscript, which has resisted all attempts to decode it for over a century, has finally yielded up its secrets. Dr. Gerard Cheshire took 2 weeks using a combination of lateral thinking and ingenuity to unravel the Voynich manuscript, which features in the Indiana Jones films. The Voynich manuscript is a medieval handwritten and illustrated text which has been carbon dated to the mid-15th century. Among those who have famously attempted to crack the code are Alan Turing and his colleagues at Bletchley Park. Dr. Cheshire, a research associate at the University of Bristol, described how he successfully deciphered the manuscript's codex and at the same time revealed the only known example of Proto-Romance language. I experienced a series of eureka moments whilst deciphering the code, followed by a sense of disbelief and excitement when I realized the magnitude of the achievement, both in terms of its linguistic importance and the revelations about the origin and content of the manuscript, he said. What it reveals is even more amazing than the myths and fantasies it has generated. For example, the manuscript was compiled by Dominican nuns as a source of reference for Maria of Castile, Queen of Aragon, who happens to have been great-aunt to Catherine of Aragon, whoever that is. It is also no exaggeration to say that this work represents one of the most important developments to date in Romance linguistics. The manuscript is written in Proto-Romance, ancestral to today's Romance languages, including Portuguese, Spanish, French, Italian, Romanian, Catalan, and Galician. The language used was ubiquitous in the Mediterranean during the medieval period, but it was seldom written in official or important documents because Latin was the language of royalty, church, and government. As a result, Proto-Romance was lost from the record until now. Dr. Cheshire also explained in linguistic terms what made the manuscript so unusual. It uses an extinct language. Its alphabet is a combination of unfamiliar and more familiar symbols, he said. It includes no dedicated punctuation marks, although some letters have symbol variants to indicate punctuation or phonetic accents. All of the letters are in lowercase, and there are no double consonants. It includes, that's a nightmare to say right there.
Where?
It includes diphthong, triphthongs, quadriphthongs, and even quintiphthongs for the abbreviation of phonetic components. It also includes some words and abbreviations in Latin. The next step is to use this knowledge to translate the entire manuscript and compile a lexicon, which Dr. Cheshire acknowledged will take some time and funding as it comprises more than 200 pages. So pretty cool. I know it's some scientific terms I was using there, but it's really some interesting historical findings there. And I don't know much about the Proto-Romance language, but it seems like an interesting topic to study. Now, the next thing I wanted to get into was a cryptid that we usually talk about.
Okay, hold on.
What do you want to know about the
So this is about plants?
There
Is the
were
whole thing, or
supposed
just
no.
like...
There are. It's here we can actually check out the Voynich manuscript. Here, there's a link to it. Where is it? Oh, I thought maybe. Can we look at it? Yeah. So yeah, here it is. So it was basically, it looks like scientific or magical text in an unidentified language, and it was clearly
So it was just
in cipher. So they thought like some of the plants depicted
it was like an extinct language or something.
Were like plants that don't exist. Like,
but they were.
I'm not certain on what happened with, like, see what I'm saying? And I'll show
Right.
you guys pictures of this while you're listening.
Hmm.
It is quite interesting, some of the things in there. I believe the illustrations are probably just illustrations, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'm really interested to see if any of these plants are like,
Real?
yeah, like what was the deal with the plants in the Voynich
Right.
manuscript? I'm gonna actually look up plants and see what the deal was. After spending months correlating the Voynich manuscript botanical drawings, correlating them with 21st century plants, we arrived at the following conclusions. The botanical drawings are realistic representations of living plants, even if the author occasionally enhanced his drawings with fanciful embellishments like the cat's body for roots in folio 90V. Many of the plants are herbs, vegetables, or flowers and are native to or cultivated in the Mediterranean region, in particular Italy. So yeah, so I guess they really are. These plants are. See, there's actually a comparison right here
Mm-hmm.
of like the differences here.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty interesting stuff though. So it looks like they have matched them to there are 126 drawings of plants in the Voynich manuscript. The majority of a high enough standard to allow recognition of the plant, even though the text is not readable. So far, we have been able to assign names to about 124, or 98% of the drawings. When we correlated a plant with the Voynich manuscript drawing, we tried to match the flower, the leaf, and, when available, the root. Modern botany does not rely on root structure for plant identification, so sometimes finding drawings or photographs of plant roots is difficult. So yeah, they've matched almost all of them, but two, right? I don't know if they've picked that up or not. But yeah.
Cool.
Now the next thing I want to talk about is an interesting thing. It's something we've learned a little bit about. I know we've watched a couple documentaries on it.
What's that?
That's the Beast of Bray Road.
Oh, okay.
And I find this fascinating because, by all accounts, it seems like possibly a dog man. And it was cited, I believe, for just, it was in a certain time period that a lot of people were claiming to see this thing. And what I'm just going to read about is different people's encounters with this thing, I guess.
We watched something about Dog Man the other day that I thought was quite interesting. Like something was said, and I cannot think of what it was now.
It might have been about the Beast of... It wasn't about the Beast of Bray Road?
I don't think so.
I actually have to find my link again. Here we go. Because I have another sighting. It kind of relates a little bit, but yeah, this took place in Wisconsin, and actually the article I'm reading is from anomalien.com, and a link listed below. Is there really a werewolf in southern Wisconsin? It may be hard to believe, but many people over many years have reported seeing a man-wolf creature that is called the Beast of Bray Road, or the Bray Road Beast. While there are Native American accounts of encounters with the creature, much like the Bray Road Beast, the first modern report of the beast came in 1936. A man named Mark Shackleman, a night watchman at St. Coletta Convent, was driving on Highway 18 just east of Jefferson County, Wisconsin. As Shackleman approached one of the Native American burial mounds in the area, he saw someone, or something, standing near the mound. As he got closer, he could see that this was not human, but he wasn't sure what it was. The beast was about 7 foot tall, and he estimated it weighed about 500 pounds. The Beast of Bray Road appeared to be digging at the mound. Shackleman soon noticed a strong, repugnant smell, which he said was like rotting meat. Shackleman panicked and fled the strange beast. Some days later, he got up the nerve to return to the area. As he approached, to his surprise, the Bray Road Beast was still there. This time the man got a very good look at the beast. Its face was like a wolf, its hands were human-like, with what he described as a twisted thumb. Shackleman said that the beast made a grunting sound that he described as sounding like Gadara. After what he said was several minutes stare down with the beast, it disappeared into the nearby woods. There were no additional reports of the beast for many years, at least none that became public. Then in 1964, the beast was seen just 2 miles from the location of the 1936 sighting. The creature was reported again in 1972 when a woman said the beast tried to break into her home before attacking and seriously injuring a horse. On October 31st, in 1989, Doriston Gibson was driving on Bray Road near Devlin, Wisconsin when she felt a bump. Thinking she may have hit something, she stopped and got out of her car.
Uh-oh.
She saw nothing behind the car, but as she looked around, approximately 50 feet away, Gibson saw a very large, bizarre-looking creature running straight at her. She quickly got back into the car and started to drive off. The beast of Bray Road jumped onto the trunk of the vehicle, but quickly fell as she sped off. Gibson told a neighbor about what had happened and showed them some deep scratches on her car trunk. From there, the rumor of the Bray Road beast began to spread once again, and more people began to come forward to tell their own strange stories of encounters with the beast. One sighting of the Bray Road beast in 1989 was reported by 24-year-old Lorraine Andreezy. Andreezy said she was driving on Bray Road when she saw something that appeared to be crouching on the side of the road. She slowed her car to get a better look, and what she saw would terrify her. She said at one point she was within 6 feet of the beast. She reported that she saw the beast for about 45 seconds and described it as being a large, brown or gray hair-covered creature. It had large fangs, pointed ears, and a face like a wolf. Andrizzi noted that the beast was built very broad, like a bodybuilder, and looked very powerful. Andrizzi escaped in her car and related her story to her family. It was her mother that contacted local reporter Linda Godfrey. Godfrey talked to many people who claimed to have seen the beast of Bray Road. Godfrey would publish the story on December 29, 1991. She would also go on to write in numerous books about the beast of Bray Road, assuring the Bray Road beast's place in the history of the strange monsters that at times seemed to be everywhere. So yeah, that's what I got about the several encounters that I was able to kind of find in this one little story. I thought it was a good summary. Now, what are you sure what you were thinking about watching wasn't the Inside Edition on the Beast of Bray Road? Because I just watched that a night or two ago. It was about a 6-minute segment that Inside Edition did on this back in, I want to say 91 or 92, maybe 93.
I don't recall being an Inside Edition.
But yeah,
I didn't know that was. What was that about?
By all accounts, it seems like it may be a werewolf, right? And this was in the rural town of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. A lot of people...
Well, I don't know. From my understanding, there's a difference. Mainly being like a tail, right? Like a dog man, I don't think it has a tail.
And another thing that's interesting, I'll say, is that it seems to have been sighted eating a lot. It's always crouched down and got some in its mouth. And
yeah, also I've heard a lot, like when it goes to stand up, you can hear like the cracking of like its bones almost or something.
And the
which to me is creepy.
Twisted thumbs.
Yeah.
That was interesting. But some possible explanations for this thing, they say the werewolf-like creature could have possibly been an actual werewolf, or it could have been a large canine misidentification.
Right.
Some people say it could have been a Bigfoot, a skunk ape, the Wahila, which is a bear dog. I don't know. Sure, maybe that could be it. And the canine-like Shunka have been mentioned for possibilities as the real identity of the Beast of Bray Road. One thing I'll say is it sounds like it's probably a pretty dangerous creature you don't want to cross paths with, I'll say.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So it's been featured in Monsters and Mysteries in America, Monster Quest. It's been in The Beast of Bray Road, 2005. And it was also investigated on Expedition X.
Whenever we were watching, they were talking about something about making eye contact with it and the, like almost like hatred or evilness coming from the creature that, like, it was like
didn't even care that
incredibly
they were there
intense. like, no, well, I mean, I don't know about that.
So, in the same token of that, I got another one that's about a possible werewolf sighting.
Okay.
And this one's from the same website. It's titled Werewolf Horror.
I mean, what
Real
is the
story of
difference in a
terror.
werewolf and a dog man?
I don't
I
know
mean,
that
I
there
know there's
is a
some, like,
difference.
one doesn't have a tail or something.
Oh, that's possible. We'll have to look into that. I'm not sure. This one is from Missouri.
Right.
So, the quiet hidden cemetery in Sheraton County, Missouri, sits at the end of a slice of gravel sneaking into hills. A dark roof of trees turns the long stretch of rocks and dirt into a leafy tunnel. Ryan Straub, founder of the Missouri-based ghost hunting group Tir Fernath, has often visited the cemetery and experienced strange things. However, nothing has disturbed him as much as what he and fellow Tir Fernath member Mike Harcade saw standing on that gravel road. Mike and I were leaving one day, Straub said. As we were leaving, we were in the middle of the hills and we saw a very large dog in the road. It stood up on its hind legs and left the road. Straub and Harcade froze as the beast walked on two legs into the thick trees. That bothered me, Straub said. The only thing I could think of was that it was the mythical beast, the werewolf. Werewolves, in various forms, have existed in many cultures across the world, from the medieval European werewolf that dominates horror movies to American Indian skinwalkers. The image of a man changing into a beast has terrified people for centuries. But sitting safely in a cozy house, watching television, the werewolf stalking the night is nothing but legend. Some people think that's dead wrong. The glow of city lights bathed the Arizona night in gray as four teenagers walked onto the Shalimar Golf Course in Tempe. Is that how you say that, Tempe?
Yeah.
Carl Davis, now an adult, was in high school when he and his friends, bored with their weekly Bible study meeting, walked outside. The girl's house we did it at lived right on the golf course, Davis said. The Shalimar Golf Course sits in a highly populated residential area of the city, so the group tried to be quiet as they kept to the edge of the golf course, walking along palm trees that lined a wall. We were there talking and goofing around, Davis said. My girlfriend says something like, "Hey, something just jumped out of that palm tree." The trees were approximately 35 feet tall, so the other teens laughed and resumed their conversation. A few seconds later, she lets out a blood-curdling scream, just pure shock terror, Davis said. As Davis turned towards his girlfriend, he saw something he couldn't believe. I look in the direction, and there is a creature lumbering along the wall towards us, Davis said. It was as tall as me, 6 foot, hunched over, huge snout like a werewolf. The beast, blacker than the night surrounding it, lunged towards the teens as they ran. It was chasing after us, Davis said. It was running along the wall toward me, and I just turned and ran. I didn't even look back. The teens never saw the thing again, although something about the encounter still confuses Davis. It was in the middle of town, he said. That's what always gets me about that thing. Not out in the woods or at a secluded cabin, but in Tempe, Arizona. But Arizona and Missouri are not alone in these encounters. Corey Williams, her cousin Richard, and two friends were driving near Midlothian, Illinois, on a late-night trip when a large, man-like beast ran into the road. A 6 to 7 foot man-beast thing ran from the Rubio Woods to the woods behind an electrical fence of some kind, Williams said. Richard swerved to miss the creature. The beast was covered in bluish-gray fur. Its snout was like a coyote or wolf, but longer. Its eyes were like holes, and the smell of wet dog wafted throughout the car. Although the four didn't see the creature for long, the thing that stuck with Williams was the beast's hands. I call it man-like because of its size and hands, Williams said. They look like human hands, except for the fingers were really long, clawed, and covered in fur. Richard thought it was a werewolf or something. A universe of the unknown lies just beyond human perception. Maybe there is truth to the legends. So that's pretty creepy, man. It definitely sounds like the same type of creature these people are encountering.
Right.
I don't believe I'd want to run into such thing. Pretty interesting, though.
I think so. This stuff absolutely fascinates me. Like, I think about that often, like, wanting to see, one of these things or a Bigfoot or something.
In the right.
The right setting, I suppose. Yeah. I really want to see one just so I have. Oh, okay. I have something to talk about really quick.
Oh, let's hear it.
Speaking of like seeing stuff, I've heard about there being a couple bald eagle being seen in Kentucky recently.
I know where
Down
this
by
is
the
going.
river. And so I thought that was crazy, right? Like there's not supposed to be bald eagles in Kentucky, but there are in fact some here recently for some reason. And we're coming back home last week sometime, and we've got my youngest little girl with us in the back seat, and she knows I've been looking for it, and I'm driving, so she's kind of looking around for me too, just seeing whatever. And she sees something, not an eagle. She's like, "What's that?" And I turn to look as much as I can while driving, and I see this little animal in this field that it looked like a kangaroo. That's.
And here's what makes me upset about this whole thing.
You
I
weren't
was
even-
in the passenger seat. She was driving. And I was looking in this direction of where this thing was supposedly at the whole time, and I never see it. My eyes are bad.
It was almost like the color of a deer, like, you know, that brown color.
And let me also
It
add
bent
this.
forward, and like you could see like the tail of like what a kangaroo's tail looks like
We were
thicker up
not-
at the body.
We were not in an area where there were no other people, or this thing would have went unnoticed by other people. Because we were in a line of
barely see
traffic
it.
miles long. So whatever this thing was right out off the highway.
I mean, it was a good
It was off the road, right?
100,
Obviously, it was
200
a
yards
little
off
bit off
the
the road
road.
because I couldn't find it.
It wasn't
in this small
terribly
amount of time
large
we were
either.
driving by. I find it interesting because there are reports of kangaroos being spotted in Ohio.
That's
And
weird.
we are, 90 minutes from Ohio? I believe it takes us 90 minutes to get to Cincinnati. It's right across the river from Covington.
What's weird is that the area that we saw it in. You know, like it was part of the armory.
Right by the Bluegrass Army Depot.
Yeah. I don't know.
It could have
Maybe
been a kangaroo,
it was just misidentification of some sort. I don't know.
Maybe
but that's
it was
what
a kangaroo.
it looks like. Like if a
It's just,
kangaroo were like
it's
bending over,
possible.
like eating something off the ground or something like that. That's what it looked like. I don't know.
Crazy.
A little
I got
weird.
one more, and I guess I'm gonna get out of here after this because
Yeah, I got to get up early.
we do have to get up and work in the
Yeah.
morning. This one is from the website Phantoms and Monsters. It's a really interesting site. A lot of up to date encounters on this one. There's a lot of more recent things. I want to say they put new encounters on here daily, so you can always find new things on here. I'll link it down in the description. And this one was from Friday. This one's titled "Couple Experiences Bizarre Incidents and Entities at Lake Story, Illinois."
Okay.
On 7/2/2020, 2220 local time in Galesburg, Illinois, the unidentified object fell onto the trail. Then entities were seen. Some bizarre things have been happening to the couple. I recently received this report. Lake Story is located here in Galesburg. We like to go on walks at night out there and never had any problems other than raccoons pestering us. So on the night of July 2nd, 2020, we get to this really dark part of the trail that's kind of deeper in the woods, and we heard something very large falling like it was going to land on our heads. I yanked her out of the way and looked back and see something almost hit the ground, but don't. I don't know how else to explain it, but when it was gone, I chalked it up as shadows playing tricks on me or something. She thought it was weird, and she doesn't believe in anything paranormal, UFO, or spiritually related. Well, you should
Why
open
not?
your mind. You know?
Yeah, no kidding.
Then a few days after that, we are walking again in the same area, and something very similar happens. We could hear something dripping through the trees kind of violently. Every time we just kind of brush it off, but we're really freaked out. So then, just a few days later, we go out walking again and get to the same exact spot on the trail. We look, and there is something about 4 foot tall standing about 30 feet in front of us. At first, I thought it might have possibly been a deer, but she saw it too. I told her to give me her flashlight really fast. She gave it to me, I shined it, but there was no deer. Before I could even get a flashlight on this thing, it was ripping through the woods at a very fast pace. I don't know who to call. The police would all think I'm a crazy person and I don't want to jeopardize my family. Unless there is a methed out naked midget in the woods throwing stuff and stalking us, I don't know what else to say. We are really freaked out. We have encountered something in the same spot 3 different times now. This location is the deep spot of the woods at Lake Story on the far end, like you were heading out towards the country. I know whoever is reading this probably thinks I'm a nut, and I would too. I've talked to a few people, and one person told me to contact you. Note, I contacted the eyewitness today. He and his girlfriend are still a couple. They no longer go to this location. Both have experienced vivid dreams and out-of-body incidents during the past 2.5 years. At this point, it's hard to determine what they had actually experienced. He did tell me that he contacted other reporting agencies and sites, but to no avail. So yeah, I mean, like I said, they put these on here daily, and some of them are a little more resolved than others. Some of them are just recent reports and haven't gotten anywhere. So these seems to be something they haven't been around for a couple of years. So back in 2020. So
I mean, it sounds like, you know, whatever it is, like it's watching them when they're out there, right? So like it's almost like it wants to interact in some way, but maybe
really doesn't know how to go about it.
I would have continued to go to the spot, you know? I can understand being scared though, and like, oh, maybe not.
Right, yeah. Well, especially when you know the things got the jump on you when it comes to being able to get around you without you knowing,
or seeing you without you even knowing.
I thought I had a picture that goes with this one, but I think it was the other one that I had the picture that goes with. And I will make sure you guys can see it too. I think it was this one maybe. Or was it the Bray Road one? One of these had like a sketch that somebody had made.
Not this one.
No, it's gotta be the Bray Road thing. No, maybe I've just lost it. I was really under the impression that it was the last one that I did. If I can find it, I will definitely post it for you guys. Well, let me see. Was it this?
What time is it?
I'm so lost that I can't find this little sketch. It's kind of disturbing. I really feel like it was this one, but now I'm just having trouble finding it. But yeah, I don't have anything else for tonight. That's all I had. If you guys enjoyed hanging out with us tonight, be sure you hit the like button. It really helps our video get recommended in the algorithm, and it, in turn, gets us more views, and we greatly appreciate it. And if you guys have a story or an encounter of your own you'd like to share with us, you can send that to hillshadowsky@yahoo.com. And I don't have anything else for tonight. I think I'm getting ready to turn it in, as they say.
I'm gonna go shower, so I don't have to do it early.
I think I'm gonna do it early. It helps me wake up in the morning, but just depending on how my sleep goes at night, you know, that can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, it's a process for me to shower.
But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next Friday. We're gonna have a busy few weeks, so I'm gonna do what I can and make sure we're here as long as we can be every week. So
should be a fun week though.
It should be a fun week. It's always an interesting week at work. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God.